Good morning and thank you so much for joining us on the Tuesday edition of TVC Breakfast. We're here again to give you all the information you deserve to know. I'm Ibrahim Shita.
Rise and shine in Nigeria. It is time for the Tuesday edition of the TVC Breakfast Show. I've been gone for a while, but it feels so good to be back and to have you here join us this morning. I'm Olamide Odekunle.
Well, good morning, Nigeria. Thanks for joining us. What a beautiful day where we get to talk about everything affecting our very beloved country, Nigeria. There's a lot to talk about on the show this morning. I'm Ria Abdul. Welcome to our show.
Good morning, Nigeria. Today we'll be examining different media narratives and also the different perspectives on political, socio-economic issues in our country. My name is Biodun Shomi.
All right. Maraba, Olamide, we missed you.
She's
Good
back.
to have you back.
I miss
we
you
have
all
actually really
so
missed
much.
you.
Mr. Shomi, Miria, Ibrahim, and Nelson, who
Of course.
sat on this.
But you know, Olamide, you look very well rested. You actually look so good that I'm thinking that I need to beg my bosses to go on like
leave.
2 weeks leave.
Our senior producer is hearing you right now. I'm sure you'll consider. I miss being on this table so much.
All
It's a
right.
privilege,
Absolutely.
and I watch you guys every single day. So proud.
Welcome back, girl. Welcome back,
Thank you,
girl.
Ibrahim.
All right, a very good morning, Nigeria. The table is full, the table is set. Now let's get into the conversations. You know how we do it. Let me give you a rundown of what we'll be doing on the show this morning. At some point, Ibrahim will bring us all the headlines that have made it to the newspaper. We get to dissect it right here on the show. Later on, we will be speaking about the UK Prime Minister's exit. He's resigned, and we will speak about it. What consequences, will happen in Nigeria from that, as we know that we have a relationship with Nigeria and the UK. So we'll talk about that later on the show. And then much later, when we take you all the way to Abuja, we will speak about APC and Bauchi. We will take you all the way to Bauchi when we get to Abuja. And then Olamide, that is back, the beautiful Olamide, will bring us everything trending in the world of social media and more. So it's a very packed show. We implore you to please grab that cup of coffee and let's have a very fantastic one. We will start with the story. For the second time in 16 months, an attempt to forcefully take over the administration of local government in Osun State has allegedly claimed the life of a 14-year-old boy, Ezekiel Olakpade, in Ilobu, Irepodun Local Government Area of the state. We have more details in this report.
Ezekiel Olakpade was allegedly shot on Sunday at the Irepodun Local Government Secretariat by suspected political thugs. According to his father, the perpetrators, allegedly led by one Said Karim, stormed the area and opened fire indiscriminately, killing his son, who died almost immediately, while another person sustained injuries. Addressing journalists, the Director General of Accord Party Campaign Council, Larry Oyewumi, described the recurrence of such incidents as a disturbing development and blamed the police for failing to apprehend those responsible.
We are further compelled to express our unmitigated lack of confidence in the leadership of Osun State Police Command under Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Gotan. The recurring pattern of political violence, the apparent absence of deterrence, and the widespread perception of selective law enforcement have severely eroded public trust in the command's ability to discharge the constitutional responsibility impartially.
The suspect, alleged to have led the attackers, Said Karim, denied involvement in the killing in a video statement. The police public relations officer of the Osun State Police Command confirmed that officers deployed to the council secretariat had gunshots during the incident.
And we couldn't lay hands on the vehicle or whatever color of their clothes or whatever. But we know that our men on ground heard shooting, they rushed out, and somebody was already on the floor. Actually, the senior man from the team told me personally that there is no way they would have even engaged, because as professional officers, we don't engage when we consider the background. There are innocent people there. If police have shot yesterday, probably it would have been that it's police bullets that killed that boy. So they were very calculative not to engage.
In February last year, the forceful takeover of local government secretariats in the state led to the death of the former chairman of Irewole Local Government Area, Remi Abbas, and some others. Rafiu Hamid, TVC News, Osogbo.
The Osun APC Governorship Campaign Council demands a comprehensive, transparent, and professional investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Ezekiel Olakpade. we insist that all those found culpable, irrespective of their social status, political affiliation, or position in our society, must be brought to justice in accordance with the rule and the laws of the land. The sanctity of human life must remain paramount. The perpetrators of these heinous acts must face the full consequences prescribed by law.
All right, this is the conversation we're going to be having this morning. Not a very, very beautiful conversation. It leaves a bitter taste in our mouths. This is not a time for us to politicize anything. A life has been lost. A 14-year-old young man that has dreams and aspirations to be something in life, his life has just been cut short. But Mr. Shomi, when we speak about things like this, we speak about the fact that democracy should not cost lives. You know, the real victims are actually ordinary citizens that are just going about their daily life. And also the rule of law. We know how much the rule of law matters. But seeing this happen and also seeing that some people are trying to politicize it, it really breaks my heart because someone has actually lost his life in this kind of battle.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. I mean, when you look at what happened in Osun over the local government issue, this issue went to court, from High Court to 2 different Court of Appeals, and eventually the APC chairmen were able to remain in office one way or the other. But then the government of Osun State decided to dislodge them from office. And of course, they've never been able to do that. The previous attempt led to the loss of a chairman of a local government who was killed. Yeah. And now we have another person in another desperate attempt, you know, to dislodge those who are occupying the secretariat currently, who are the APC's elected officials. So for me, this issue could have been better handled to avoid loss of lives. There's nothing wrong with political disagreement one way or the other, but leading to loss of lives and violence, for me, should be condemned.
You know, Olamide, this is not the first time we're seeing political disagreements, local government disagreements. We've seen it in so many, states. But we ask ourselves now, where do we now draw the line? Yes, like Mr. Shomi said, we don't have a problem with disputes, but then again, we have a problem with violence because these violence actually takes down people that should not be taken down. We're looking at this young man. How does his mother feel? How does his father feel? And now we're also looking at the fact that some people are now trying to politicize it. When do we now get to understand the importance of a life?
Absolutely. Political rivalry should never threaten our public safety, and that is what we are seeing here. We are seeing political tension between some political actors affect a child who is not a candidate, he is not a politician, he is not a person who is politically affiliated, and yet he has now become the casualty of an increasingly politically toxic environment. That is absolutely unacceptable. Now, I will point to the Commissioner of Police because before this incident happened, there were already issues surrounding his redeployment. Several civil society organizations had called for the redeployment of this Commissioner of Police. What I want to see is arrest, because the moment that political actors start to feel as though there are no consequences for violence, that is a problem. We need to make the investigation swift to push for deterrence, especially as we are entering an increasingly politically rigorous cycle come 2027. It's a shame. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Honestly speaking, and Ibrahim, we speak about accountability. Things like this, we should not just sweep it, off the ground, because when we do that, it sets a precedent for people to think that they can do anything and just go away with it. Now, this 14-year-old boy has become collateral damage for something that he had no affiliations with.
Absolutely, you describe it correctly, because we do not understand what the belligerent party, were up to. If you have, 2 parties or 3 parties or even multi-party, society where they're fighting over, okay, we are the rightful person to take over the local government administration, and then the other party is saying no, and at the end of the day, they are fighting themselves to the extent of killing someone. Whoever has been killed, regardless of what it is, that person must be, the killer must be brought to justice. Because why would you even go ahead and be fighting over what? At most, you spend 3 years, 6 years, how many years they spend in local government? Is it not 3 years or thereabout? For as long as you can, even if you spend 10 years there, you will live there one day, and then you'll be accountable, not just to the people, but to God, because the posterity will always judge you. So those who always take up arms, fighting on behalf of these politicians, whose children are in school,
Exactly.
whose children are abroad, whose children will
Not even in
never,
school in Nigeria.
you understand, will never go out to face, violence or death on behalf of their fathers.
Yeah.
You will now go there because of how much they give you. Even if they give you 1 billion naira, it's not worth you carrying gun to the extent of taking a life, because a life is unquantified. There is no way you can quantify it with amount of reparation you'll be paying, to the family. So I just want this matter to be, put to rest. The presidency, or let's say the executive, overall, has to weigh in on this matter, because the court has already ruled. I don't understand why, we are still having issues, in the state. Elections are coming, and we do not know if you are seeing this is a foretaste, which is going to lead to something very bad.
Ibrahim, quickly, you raised a very, vital point. People need to understand, especially our politicians, you cannot be on a seat for the rest of your life. I mean, even your father's house, at some point you die and leave the place. So, like, nothing is forever in this world. Even your life is not forever.
Absolutely.
So I think that these are things we really need to look at. But I'm just hoping and I'm praying that, this story actually sets a precedent and we get accountability for this young Ezekiel, so that we do not see another person, pass away again. It's quite a sad one. But I'll end this with just saying that we need to understand that democracy is actually free, and everybody must be free in the country that they live in. And I hope that the right authorities will take this up and make sure that justice is brought. All right, at this point, we will take a quick breather, and when we come back, it will be time to dissect all the headlines that have made it to the newspaper. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. It's TVC Breakfast.